And I don't get that at all. If somebody could please explain this whole floating forest thing to me, I'd be real grateful. But somehow they equate the floating trees sinking to the bottom, which, why the fuck did they even sink to the bottom in the first place if it's a floating forest? Things sunk to the bottom and created a bed of coal. And I think that's their explanation for why we find coal seams. But I don't really know. The whole theory was just kind of thrown out there as a, well, you should already know about this kind of thing. They just mentioned it. They're like, BTW, floating forest. Anyway, this whole floating forest thing led us into a very interesting discussion, if you could call it that, with one of the docents, with one of the one docent that I saw throughout the entire museum. Out of the entire 5 hours that I was there, 5 or 6 hours actually, we were there, and I saw one docent. And he was manning one of the videos or something, I'm not sure, he was taking chips for it, or I really don't know. Anyway, I saw this floating forest thing. It was a very pretty little mural painted on the wall, and not explained in the very least. And so I went up to him with our crowd of heathens, and one of our crowd had a video camera. She works for one of the cable access stations in Kentucky, and she was filming, throughout the entire museum. So I went up to the docent, and I started, all I asked him about, I had no intention of arguing anything with him, I just wanted to know what the fuck was up with this floating forest. So I went up to him, and I asked him that, but in a nicer way, and of course Paige took out her video camera, and, was filming, and then the guy said, "Oh, can you put that down? That's making me really uncomfortable." And he said it in a very nice way, and Paige was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So she puts down her camera and turns it off. No problem. We got maybe a minute's worth of film of him, and all he said to us was, "Oh, the floating forest. Well, it's just hollow trees." That was it. That was all the footage she got of him. So he didn't have an explanation for me in the end. He referred me to Answers magazine. Anyway, so we walk along our merry way, out back into the lobby, and we're stopped by 3 security guards. 3 security guards. I should mention that they all carry guns, if that's of interest to anybody, especially those of you overseas who think that all Americans are gun nuts. No. It's just the ones who are nuts to begin with. The security guards at the Creation Museum, yes, they carry guns. But it's also a privately owned museum. 3 security guards come up to us. Specifically, they approach Paige, and they say, "We just got a complaint from one of the employees that you were filming him, and we just wanted to know if that was true." So Paige, of course, says, "Yeah, I was filming him," and then he told me that he didn't want me to film him, so I turned it off, and I was holding my camera down at my hip. And then they asked her to see the video footage, and they kept us there for 5 minutes at least, and I, chimed in, and I explained what was going on, what I had asked the guy, and I asked him if there was anything that we did wrong. Aside from the videotaping thing, was there another reason that they were stopping us? Perhaps the fact that we had Secular Student Alliance stickers or atheist shirts by any chance? Oh, no. There's no trouble. We just got that complaint, so, but everything seems alright. And well, I told him that was the only docent that I'd seen all day. Maybe if he didn't want people asking him questions, maybe the museum should put more information providers throughout the entire museum. Just a thought. So they let us go, but that was just a little strange. I know that this whole video has been basically a bashing of creationists and the people that go to this museum. And of course, I feel that there's a good reason for this. This place is upholding complete and utter lies. when it comes to the scientific proof that we have backed up. I just think it's an abomination upon the ass of Kentucky, and there already is so many. But I do want to point out that the staff, that aside from the one guy who complained and the security guards who are just general assholes, I do want to point out that other than that, the staff was extremely friendly. There was never anybody that I looked at and got a dirty look from in the staff. I always got smiles. Everybody was just very nice. And, dare I say, welcoming. So, I think that's great. I really, really do. The other thing is, I wore my shirt, as I showed in the previous video, that said, "Now's your chance to hug an atheist." And I only got 2 hugs that day, which I was I was actually really disappointed with this. And if any of you guys are watching this video and you were at the museum and you saw me, you're a fuck for not giving me a hug. I wore that shirt specifically so I could spread some love among the secularists. I got a hug from an atheist, and I got a hug from a Christian. And that man was so incredibly nice, and just like, you could tell he was just one of the kindest people, and you know those people, you meet him, and you can just tell that they're just nice. You would just want to sit down and have coffee with him. And that was that guy. The other thing is, most of the creationists that we did talk to, who came up and debated with, various members of our party, they were very nice. I do want to emphasize that the only people that gave us trouble throughout our entire 6-hour stay through the museum, it was the docent that complained about us, the security guards, and the patrons. That's it. My friend Robin and I also helped fold pizza boxes with one of the employees of Noah's Cafe. I worked at Papa John's for 2 years, so I'm like a bit of a professional about it. Not that I'm proud of that at all. But we, stood with her and helped her fold these boxes and had a bit of a conversation, just like how's the weather conversation. But nonetheless, lovely girl. I know that sometimes as an atheist, as a humanist, as a secularist, as an evolutionist, we really get away from the fact that these people, even though they're dumb shits, they are still on the same earth as us, and we still have to attempt to get along with them in some manner. I know I forget that a lot, so I'm not going to be pointing any fingers here. In fact, I'm probably one of the biggest offenders for actually, not using ad hominem attacks, which I'm not even going to apologize for, because I think they're funny. I think that's most important especially for us, when we have, so to say, something to prove to the creationists. For example, we have to prove that we're not all murdering thieves like they think we are. And I think it is really important for us to, at times, step back from ourselves and be like, alright, how the fuck am I treating these people? And basically just put forth a good impression. I think that's really important. And like I said, I'm not saying it's going to happen all the time at all. There will be another video up, though. I want to share the pictures. I want to, give some commentary on the things that I saw. So look forward to that. If anybody else was at the museum that day and has put up some sort of, reaction on YouTube or anything else, if there's a way you could maybe link to my video and then I'll link to your video, or if you could post a video response and I'll do the same thing, that way we can all kind of like stay connected, that would be awesome. Look for my next video with all the pictures and stuff. That'll be a good time. In the meantime, here's to all of you that really do believe that we are cousins of apes. The second thing about this presentation... another one. Alright, there we go.